Alright folks, it's Jake from Wani, and I am here today with Patrik Jensen, guitar player for The Haunted and Witchery. Patrik, how are you going?
Pretty good, mate. How are you?
Yeah, I'm very good, thank you. And we're here to talk about the Triple Bill Kill, which is coming up in Australia in a couple of weeks. So it's at the gates, supported by The Haunted and also supported by Witchery. So this is your first time back in Australia in 5 years. I believe it was your last tour with The Haunted in 2014 that you were here. How does it feel to be coming back?
I think it was 2015, but yeah, I love to play Australia. I wish we could do that more often. It's too bad it's so far away, or actually that Sweden might be too far away from Australia. So, but yeah, very excited, and of course, even more excited to be able to bring Witchery with us this time.
Yeah, and that's actually a really good point. So you are coming down not only as a member for The Haunted, but also bringing Witchery down here for the very first time. So how does that feel to be bringing Witchery to Australia?
Every time I've been down to Australia with The Haunted, not everyone, but a lot of people ask me about Witchery. You know, when are you coming down with Witchery? And, you know, there's been... Because members are in different bands, there's always been a problem. It's actually a problem just to get guys to rehearse and to record an album. So that's sometimes why there's several years in between albums. We've been lucky these past few years that we've been able to put out 2 albums, 2016 and 2017, I believe. But yeah, now finally the stars aligned. We won't have everyone in the band with us, but we have great people that will step in. Everyone is excited.
Yeah, cool. Now, I guess given that it has taken this long for Witchery to come out, I mean, you are 20 odd years into the band's career. Did you ever think that your chances for touring Australia were running out?
Maybe. We've been to Japan a few times, so, you know, that's about as far away as Australia is. So, you know, we've always felt we had the chance to make it to Australia, but you know, as you say, 20 years down the line, it started to seem a bit unlikely. So that's why it was especially cool to get on this tour, because well, you know, we share members in The Haunted are also in At the Gates and so on. So it's just a bunch of old friends. So it's kind of like, you know, friends doing a trip together and having fun and, you know, going to a great country and playing music. It's going to be a fantastic trip on all accounts.
Yeah, definitely. Now, Australia is a very large country, which I'm sure you're aware. There's a lot of travel time between cities, and with this run of shows, you yourself are obviously going to be performing 2 sets each night. So is it daunting for you to think that on this tour you're going to be performing 8 sets over 4 nights across 1,800 kilometres worth of distance between a couple of cities?
Well, back in 2000, well, it's a long time now ago, but in 2001, The Haunted was to do a US tour, and it was right after, I think it was October, so a month after 9/11, and the opening band couldn't make it for some reason, so Witchery jumped on the tour. So for a month, I did like 60 shows in 30 days. So, and you know, that was 1 hour sets for each band. And that went fine, so I think it'll be fine this time around too.
Yeah, cool. So I guess Australia, as you sort of touched on before, we are about as far away across the other side of the world as you can make it from Sweden. So I guess I want to gauge through your own experience and also through what other Swedish artists and metal musicians have told you. Can you maybe tell us what Sweden thinks about Australia and our little metal community?
Well, I think everyone in Sweden likes Australia. I mean, they are seen almost as Europeans. You know, you know, if you put it, if you compare to any other country that's far away, you know, the same kind of mentality and everything. And Swedes do a lot of backpacking. Australians do a lot of backpacking. So it's kind of the same mentality. My experience of Australia has always been very friendly. It's a very hospitable people. I don't know if it comes from, being so far away, rooted in the minds of people that if someone makes the effort to come to Australia, they've made a long journey, an effort to be there. So people are friendly. But yeah, I love the people. I love the nature, the country, and everything. I wish we could do longer tours down there, actually. So yeah.
Yeah, that would be cool to see you guys do longer tours. So. Look, you guys have been touring for over 2 decades now, namely talking about Witchery, but is there anywhere that you haven't been to yet that you would like to take Witchery to perform?
We were supposed to, Witchery, Haunted and At the Gates are continuing to play New Zealand. Witchery are flying home after Melbourne, so that would be cool to tag along, but that didn't work out. Russia is always cool. It's a bit exotic. The metal crowd there is just like any other metal crowd. People are people everywhere. So, but yeah, Russia would be cool. Iceland would be cool, of course. We played the Faroe Islands actually with the Haunted. That was amazing.
Yeah. So I want to gauge off you as a successful artist that tours with 2 very successful bands, and that's obviously a pretty demanding task, especially when you've got a lot of artists these days talking about excessive burnout and other forms of stigma that are associated with extensive periods of touring. So with that in mind, and again seeming like you have managed to strike a balance with respect towards both of your bands, what is it that keeps your fire for live performances burning, and do you have any tips for up and coming artists on how best to manage life on the road?
Well, to manage life on the road, I've always been I love to travel. That was one of my main goals with touring, to get to see the world. There's many different reasons to why people like touring, to get away from home, or to just be able to drink every day, or only focus on playing music. I love playing music, of course, but I love to travel. So, I get up at 9 in the morning and I go out and I, see the city where I am. I've probably been to every cathedral and all the sightseeing stuff in every European city and in the US. So if you have that curiosity about the world, touring is great. Touring has never been a problem for me, actually. It's always been an exciting journey, so to say. To keep the interest for music alive, I think that's just, you either have it or you don't have it. When I discovered, the first major band that I saw as my idols, if you will, was AC/DC.
Yep.
So when I heard Back in Black for the first time, I was sold, The first, back then it was vinyl albums. First album I bought was Power Age. So, it just, if you have the love for music and passion for music, then it will stick with you. If you're in it for any other reason, if you're in a band for any other reason, that interest will fade. But people that keep going year after year, that they're in it for the music.
Yeah, fair enough, and that's a very, very good answer. So I want to talk about Witchery. You touched on it earlier. Your last album, I Am Legion, came out in 2017, and that was a year after In His Majesty's Infernal Service. So that was following a period of about 5 or 6 years where the band hadn't released any new music. Do you think fans are going to have to wait another 5 or 6 years to hear some new Witchery?
No, I just got off my other computer, my music recording computer, and I have 9 songs ready for the next album. So the new Witchery album, hopefully this year, but definitely next year.
Cool, very cool to hear. So Witchery, again, as we sort of touched about earlier, you said that you couldn't get everyone down here for this tour, and that's partly due to the unique nature of Witchery as a band. You've got a lot of members involved in other projects. Does it ever get hard trying to organise what the band's next move is due to the natural flow of band member movement?
It is, I guess, because many people in Witchery are full-time musicians, so they need to, do their day job, so to say, and you can't really say that, oh, we have a Witchery gig, so you can't go off and play with your, the band that pays the bills. Yeah. So we've always had to take that into consideration, and like with we had Martin Axelrod on drums for a long time, and he's of course in Opeth, and Opeth is a very busy band, and Arch Enemy is also a very busy band, and that might be one of the reasons to why there was such a long period without any albums, because all our bands were just so active. When Martin stepped aside and we got Chris in the band on drums, then all of a sudden we had a lot more time to rehearse and write music, because we had one less member that was so active. Yeah. So that's why we are now back on track and releasing albums on a more regular basis.
Yeah, cool. So final one for you, Patrik. What's next on the agenda for Witchery after this Australian tour, and how does the remainder of 2019 look for Patrik Jensen?
Well, for Witchery, it's definitely to record a new album. We're going to record it again with Daniel Bergstrand, that we did the two last albums with, because he really knows how to get a great sound from the band. Apart from that, I also need to write a new Haunted album. So it's going to be a very busy year for me personally. A very fun year, of course, but recording 2 albums, writing 2 albums. So this year will be about a lot of music.
It's good to hear. That's very good to hear. Patrik, thank you so much for your time, and we look forward to seeing you when you come down here as part of the Triple Bill Kill Tour.
Thank you very much.